Amber.
They saw my tum-tum!
The moon landing didn't happen.
Are you actually gonna wear that?
Okay, fine. You're the queen of lolcows. Well done, you.
Did she spray Pam on the food?
That ass, though.
You're lolcows. That's what you guys do.
I will show you exactly why we think this is Amber. I mean, if it isn't obvious already.
And I'm also not saying that it's for sure Amberlynn because we can't say that with 100% certainty, but
I think it probably is Amber. And frankly, I'm Team Studio Deets all the way on this one.
Hey folks, what's good? I'm Professor Inspector, Reckless Mouth, Cyber Crime Fighting Deets. I think that's good. And this is my assistant, Inspector Mini Waffles. Good girl. And today, as promised, I have some gorlworld drama to report back on. And this time, as much as I would prefer it not to, it involves me and my little channel. Or rather, I guess it's more precise to say that, I don't know, the drama just woke up one day and decided to find me. And at first, I don't know, I thought maybe I just wouldn't say anything and kind of deal with it on my own time and just get through it. But you know what? Everyone deserves the opportunity to
voice their side of the story.
No one deserves
to feel silenced.
You know?
I have a voice for a reason, and it is to stick up for myself.
And I
feel like having the opportunity to share your side of the story and your perspective of a situation that happened is sometimes honestly really good for the soul.
I feel like it's my turn to speak my truth.
And sometimes it's healing for some people.
You know, it is finally my turn.
You have silenced me for far too long.
And folks, if you prefer a super short video where I immediately get to the point, well, you're kind of on the wrong channel in the first place. But especially today, you're going to get the whole story today. All of it. Everything that has happened from day one up until, I think, literally just yesterday, actually. So a lot has been happening, both publicly and behind the scenes. And I have a lot to report on. What is it they say? Strap in? Yeah. Well, get ready. And as I almost always do, I will place timestamps in the description if you'd, like to skip around to certain parts of this video. So, you have been warned. Now is your moment to move on to the next video in your queue. Otherwise, sit back, relax, grab a cup of tea. I apparently need it myself. My voice is still coming back from when I was sick, because this is going to take a while. Okay? Okay. I would like to start out by saying that if I had been approached by the people that Amber originally featured in her videos, any single one of them, in a kind, respectful, and very genuine manner, I would have been more than happy to edit them out of my videos immediately. Hands down. No questions asked.
That's a point blank period.
It would have been done, and we would have moved on. And most likely, no one would even have ever known about it. But that's not what happened, is it? And in my opinion, this was clearly not actually about privacy anyway. And I do know this for several reasons, which I will get into during this video. But I did want to start out by saying this. I am not actually the bottom-feeding trash that this anonymous account is trying to make me out to be. If you approach me with respect, I will offer it right back to you. In fact, I often offer more respect than people deserve in the first place. But I guess we'll just leave it at that for now. The second thing I want to just mention, you might be thinking,
Deets?
so long? Why weren't we talking about this last week? 2 weeks ago, even? I take this kind of thing very, very seriously. It's a serious and important matter that affects my channel. So I wanted to know what was really at hand here. What is true, what is legal, what is fair, and what is not. And if you're going to discuss anything with a legal department, well, get ready to wait, and then wait some more, and then wait some more. It's just how it goes with the legal process. But as it happens, I have the time for that. So let's review. Let's start at the very beginning.
A very good place to start.
Even before I received my very first privacy complaint. Because, like we always do here on the channel, it's important to consider the context of any situation. And the context, this time around, in my opinion, is extremely important. So these are the facts. 1. All of this started just after Amberlynn Reid announced her current break from social media, and just before Aunt Tammie's lawsuit against her became public knowledge. It was really just 1 day or two, in fact. 2. About 1 day before I received my first privacy complaint, another reaction channel, Abigail, announced on her community tab that she had received a privacy complaint herself. Now, I would like to take a moment to review what Abigail posted about it because it does actually play into a theory later on in this video. Here is the email that Abigail received from YouTube. We have received a privacy complaint regarding your content. Upon our analysis of the claim, we have removed the content in question. So YouTube didn't just remove a section of the video, right? Or just mute a part of it. They removed the entire video. The video is actually named in this email. It was called Complete Timeline of Every Single Amberlynn Reid Relationship. And in the comment section, Abigail actually did share what she wrote in her appeal to YouTube. So let's take a look at that real quick too. Nothing in this video, including the timestamp of 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 50 seconds given, invades anyone's privacy. This video is in regard to a public figure, YouTuber Amberlynn Reid, with 253,000 subscribers on YouTube, and includes only the information she has shared. My video is a timeline/recap of the partners she has mentioned and shared information about publicly on her channel. Anyone made public through YouTube who was included in my video was first made public by the original content creator, Amberlynn Reid, not me. I merely compiled information that she has made public. The person at the timestamp of 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 50 seconds identity was revealed originally by Amberlynn herself, not me. That person also chose to willingly participate in reaction channels, such as mine, that make content about Amberlynn. My video did not dox, harass, or reveal any previously unknown information about an individual. So, without having spoken with Abigail, what I understand from this is that Abigail's entire video was removed, even though the privacy complaint did include a specific timestamp. That timestamp was about 1 hour and 24 minutes into this video. And based on the title of the video, this tells me it was most likely regarding one of Amberlynn's most recent exes. I don't know, maybe Feline, but based on Abigail's appeal saying that person had willingly participated in reaction channels, I would venture to guess that it was either Erica or Emily. In any case, the entire video was removed. And I have to say, I won't speak for Abigail, but as a smaller channel than hers, the idea of YouTube removing an entire video from my channel is actually a very big deal. While it might not feel like that big of a deal for a much larger channel, it's something that would have a relatively large impact on mine. Now, the third point of context that I'd like to bring up is the fact that I have most recently been focusing my videos on the history of Amber and her Aunt Tammie's relationship. I've created 3 deep dives, or was it 4? I think it was 4, on different events that were made public by Amber herself. And if you've watched them, well, you know that Amber doesn't look very good in any of them. In fact, I'd say she looks pretty damn bad. And as much as Amber is probably hoping all of this Tammie business will just, go away if she does for a while, it doesn't really seem like that's happening. She can't just press a button, or 5, or 8, or 15, 20, 25 times press a button and make videos that she doesn't like, poof, just disappear. Sunday, August 31st of 2025, I received my very first privacy complaint. I suppose I shouldn't have been as surprised as I was, but I don't know. My channel is still so small, and honestly, I didn't think that any of my videos would matter so much to Amber. Little me, making such a big impact.
Is it me? Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama.
But then again, bullies love to pick on the little guy. It makes them feel tough. Pushing around someone that is smaller it's easy. And it's harder for them to fight back, right? So the big bully gets to feel all that power and control, somehow believing that, it makes them superior. Plus, little channels don't make big money, right? And I'm over here thinking, what if Amber thinks that YouTube won't care as much about a small channel, right? YouTube doesn't care as much as they do about a big channel, well, then they're much more likely to just side with the money, right? This is capitalism after all. We're all just out here trying to make a buck. Well, she doesn't know this little guy does fight back. And that first privacy complaint was the very first mistake. It was made anonymously, so technically, I can't say that it was definitely Amber who made it. But let's take a closer look at what we do know. A privacy complaint is supposed to include a timestamp or timestamps pinpointing exactly where someone's privacy was violated. And on that first privacy complaint, the timestamp that was offered on my video was 1 minute to 50 minutes and 31 seconds. Like, literally almost the entire video. I mean, it's an absolute joke. Obviously, an entire video can't be a violation of someone's privacy. For instance, this clip falls within the timestamps offered in the privacy complaint. The way that my brain works is with context, right? If you've been around, if you've seen my videos, that's kind of how I work. That's what I do around here. And do you think anything I say here violates anybody's privacy? And I gotta say, the laziness of doing that, well, that also really speaks to the theory that this was Amber and not someone who actually felt like I had violated their privacy. I think Abigail's privacy complaint, it was like a test of a new tactic that had been dreamed up by Amber. Instead of using her usual strategy of going after channels with copyright strikes, which she probably knew wouldn't work on channels like mine, she came up with this new strategy of using privacy complaints. This new tactic worked for her on Abigail. But here's the thing. We know that the complaint against Abigail's video included a specific timestamp. And even if it was, totally unfair, which I do believe, it was a false accusation on Abigail, and Abigail certainly wasn't the first person to reveal whatever information it was to a bot on YouTube, the complaint probably looked a lot more viable at least than a timestamp of basically the entire video. Again, I can't speak for Abigail, but from what she posted, it looks like YouTube took the complaint seriously, removed the entire video, and Abigail's appeal was probably never even read by a human. And then, seeing the success of this new tactic on Abigail's channel, Amber decided to go hog wild. And my channel was next on the chopping block. After all, her aunt had just filed a lawsuit against her, right? And Amber had some cleaning up to do. And little old me had been focusing on her history of being awful to Aunt Tammie for several weeks. But as Amber is wont to do, she got lazy. And instead of looking for a specific timestamp to call out, she just decided it would be fine to call out the entire thing. After all, it was so easy getting Abigail's video taken down, so why go through the trouble of finding a timestamp? Right? I didn't react immediately. I took the evening to ponder my potential next moves because, well, I knew that I needed to be, let's say, 2 steps ahead of Amber if I wanted to win this thing. I didn't want to have my video taken down, obviously, but I also didn't want Amber thinking that she could get away with this. If Amber got another channel's video taken down, it was never going to end.
Deja vu, bitch.
So I paused and I reflected. And I came up with a plan. I decided that I didn't actually have to be the one to take her down because I figured out a way to let her just do that herself. The next morning is when I put up my first community tab post.
So Studio Deets starts posting on the community tab, saying that there's been some weird emails happening.
I figured that since Amber was obviously watching my content, that she would see it. And if I made her mad enough, she wouldn't be able to help herself from reacting. It's who she is. I mean, she has admitted it herself.
I've heard about reactive abuse, and I'm gonna go ahead and say the way that I would react, my reaction to the way that she would treat me, or my reaction to the lies, my reaction to the betrayal, my reaction to the secrets can absolutely be seen as abuse. 100%. And I am not going to sit here and deny those things. I am going to be 100% upfront. I would become unhinged when she would hurt me.
She is reactive. She pops off when she gets angry. And I knew just what to say to make her react. Amber sure has been busy on social media during her break from social media. She's coming after reaction channels. And since she apparently has no spine, the smallest ones. I haven't heard from YouTube read their final reviews yet. What do you think the result will be? I made this a little poll just to get a little bit more traction on this post. The answers were no videos deleted, micro channel wins. 1 video deleted, small win for big channel. 2 videos deleted, bigger win for bully. Or 3 videos deleted, big loss for the little guy. Well, as you can see, 90% of people who interacted with this post said that they thought that no videos were going to be deleted and that the micro channel would win. Unfortunately, there were a few skeptics out there thinking that I would have some deleted videos, and I don't blame them. Honestly, I wasn't so sure myself. But in any case, this most certainly got Amber's attention. I doubt she liked being called lazy, and based on what happened next, I'm pretty sure she wanted as many of my videos taken down as she could possibly manage. She didn't waste any time attacking my channel. Honestly, I can't imagine how many hours Amber spent watching my videos. Because this time, every privacy complaint, every single one of them that came in had at least one, if not several timestamps attached to it. And it wasn't just, one or two complaints. No. It was a whole slew of them. Sometimes multiple complaints on the same video. I guess those are the ones that she really hated the most. Who can say? But what I found most interesting in all of this was that in the emails that I received from YouTube, I wasn't offered the opportunity to appeal any of the privacy complaints. It made me wonder how Abigail had gone about submitting her appeal, but all of the emails that I received said that, my video would be reviewed, and if YouTube found that anyone's privacy had been violated, that they would remove the entire video in order to keep their website safe. The power went out in my house that morning, actually went out in my entire neighborhood all day. Timing could not have been worse. All I had was my phone and a data plan and the mobile version of YouTube's apps, both the regular one and the creator app. And of course, they don't have all of the controls and all the options that the web versions do. So all I could do was, set up my solar panels in the backyard to keep my phone powered up and kind of see the emails rolling in with the privacy complaints. Interestingly, however, as of yet, I hadn't received any emails that any of my videos had been removed by YouTube. So I paused once again and I reflected on the situation. After all, the power outage was forcing me to slow down even more than I really wanted to. Although I will say, honestly, I think that perhaps I used this slowing down to my advantage. Because obviously I had struck a nerve with this anonymous person making all these complaints. Whoever it was really hated that I called Amber out for being lazy. But this was the second mistake. Because now, not only was the first complaint lazy, but it sure did look pretty curious that now one person would make multiple complaints against the same video over and over and then add a whole bunch more, tagging different people.
The people in each of the timestamps were all different. It wasn't like the same person in each timestamp, so you could see whose privacy had been violated. The timestamps were just random as far as who's in the shot. And that's the biggest problem with all of this.
And since I was already in this, I just decided to go ahead and keep going. Of course, I also wanted to make sure I was covering my own butt while I was doing so. So first, I took note of exactly what timestamps were in all of the new privacy complaints, and I immediately went to Amber's channel to find the original clips. I made screen recordings of them all, making sure to capture the fact that they were still, to this day, online and available for the public to see. Just in case Amber decided to randomly just take them down for some unknown reason. You gotta be thorough, after all. And then I contemplated what my next community post should be. It had worked once, and I figured it might work again. Now, folks, Minnie Waffles is currently walking around the studio, reminding me that it is her time to eat lunch. So we're going to close down shop for a little while. I'll be back to finish up in just a little bit. Please hold.
Beauty history is being made tonight. Here's a happy note for all you smart girls who use home permanents. It's Lip Quick. It contains pure protein of egg. No shampooing. Why didn't someone think of this before? No odor.
All right, we're back. The pup has been fed, watered, and walked. So I think we're ready to start talking about normal difference. Now, after checking my email the next morning to find even more privacy complaints stacking up, I published my next community post. Ooh, I guess it struck yet another nerve. Let's take a look. And the privacy complaints continue. I guess someone saw my last post regarding the lazy timestamps, because all of a sudden more specific ones are coming in. And if that someone sees this post, you should know that literally every piece of information I've discussed has been previously posted for public consumption. In fact, it's still up, and I have screen recordings, links, and timestamps at the ready. So deleting them now won't make a difference. Girls, get your pitchforks. So, not only did I call someone out again, I let her know that I was onto her and collecting evidence. And then I waited. And wouldn't you know it, some brand new anonymous account called Normal Difference just popped up.
Who the hell are you?
And, well, they started commenting on the post that day. And they just kept commenting. And damn, they had some things to say. I mean, they started blasting that comment section with insults, calling me all sorts of names, false accusations, and really just a lot of harassment. They were harassing me and those of you who were in there and sticking up for me. At first, I will admit, I did get kind of angry. Nobody likes seeing those kinds of things. The accusations were all false. The name calling? I mean, that was just seriously disgusting. My sense of fairness and justice, it just got all aggravated. And I almost considered blocking that account. But I reminded myself that there was a bigger picture to think about and a larger problem to solve. So once again, I paused and I reflected. Blocking that account would have achieved absolutely nothing. I had poked the bear, right? And this response was exactly what I was expecting to happen. So I really just had to suck it up, let them do the damage that I knew that they were, well, inevitably going to cause. But in order to make sure of it, well, maybe I just wanted to, taunt the beast just one more time. When I responded just enough to let this account know that, I saw them. I let them know that what they were doing here in the comment section was wrong. And that, well, I wasn't afraid of them because I knew that I was in the right. And to make them even more angry, then I stopped responding altogether.
Choices.
You see, I have experience with toxic people, right? If you've seen any of my videos, you know that I'm coming from a place of experience and trying to help others see, manipulative people for exactly who they are. And you know what a toxic person really hates? It is someone who sees their manipulation and doesn't respond to it. It is sad that we have to do things like this in order to protect ourselves from people like Amber, but I have had enough experience with people just like her to know what I have to do to protect myself. And that is, once again, to be a couple steps ahead and knowing what they're going to do before they do it. So I chose just the right moment to let them know that I no longer intended in responding to them. And I followed through on it. Well, for the most part, but we'll get into that in a second. It was wild to watch, and I was watching it. I really was. I may not have been responding after that first bit, but I was paying attention. As expected. As I wasn't responding, they only increased in volume and intensity. I mean, the anger was palpable, am I right? Those of you who were there remember, it was wild in there. Some very kind things were said. Yeah. Even though this account was created specifically for the reason of harassing me, which they admit to, and then deleted pretty much immediately, I, once again, was a couple steps ahead on this one and figured that was going to happen. So I made sure to collect some screenshots and screen recordings, just in case that were to happen. And so we have them to review and reflect upon today. So I think let's start with the very first comment that the Normal Difference account left on this post. Now, as you can see, I started screen grabbing 11 minutes into the time that they started commenting. Let's see what they had to say. Normal Difference. You can cry about privacy complaints all you want, but the second you use the name that even the beast had the decency not to, you proved you have zero respect for privacy. Dragging someone's name into this who has never been involved in an invasion of their privacy and risk them being doxxed and harassed, just like it's already happened to others who never wanted any part of this. And don't think for a second that just because other reactors have done it, you're any better. That only makes you the same trash they are. Damn, Normal Difference. They sure came out the gate real hot calling me trash. Again, this is someone that is completely anonymous, I've never interacted with that I know of, and have quite a few false accusations. I guess I maybe made them a little angry. Well, this is what I responded to initially to, as I said, poke the bear a little bit. So let's take a look at the rest of this thread. I was the first one to respond, saying, oh girl, how would I know names if they weren't already mentioned? I've got videos and timestamps for that too. Please. A.M. Barnard. We can see when an account was created, right? Yours was created today, and this is your only comment? Hi, Pookie. This is the third sock account of yours I believe I've found recently. You're ridiculous. Normal Difference. A.M. Barnard. Duh. You think I don't know that? Normal Difference. Studio Deets. Do you hear yourself bragging about keeping videos and timestamps of people's names like some kind of creep? Pathetic, bottom feeder behavior, digging through people's lives who never wanted any part of this cesspool. Now, I'd like to point something out here, because it's pretty interesting to me that Normal Difference, in the second comment that they've directed at me, they call me a creep. The one time, at least the only time that I know about, that Amberlynn Reid has mentioned my channel in one of her videos publicly, she called me creepy. So, this anonymous account calls me kind of a creep. While I was not a member and didn't have access to the members only live, I do know that the reaction channel Leo did cover it and gave us the exact quote from Amber. So let's go see exactly what Amber said about me.
Zachary Michael shouts out Studio Deets, who made a really lovely video for them while they were on break. Amberlynn, in her britches, decides to... She said, a lot of people don't like Studio Deets. First of all, name one, because I love Studio Deets. Studio Deets is an angel. We all love mini waffles also. The comment that she makes is... Hold on. I want this to be like a direct quote. Pause. She says, a lot of people don't like Studio Deets. I'm not going to get into that, but I've heard a lot of things about them that they're like super creepy.
What was that, Leo?
Super creepy.
Ah, thank you. Yes, super creepy. The parallels here are really just kind of astounding, aren't they? It's pretty funny, huh? Anyway, let's move on. I just thought that was an interesting thing to point out. So, I respond with this. I only got them because now I apparently need them. Didn't have them till this morning because guess what? They're still publicly available. A.M. Barnard. at Normal Difference. I normally don't touch the poop, but girl, you crack me up. Good thing you never watch reaction channels, right? Next time, try to type different than you talk. You make it so easy, George. Finkwood, at Normal Difference. LOL. Quote, joined 15 minutes ago, unquote. That's a lot of laughing faces. Normal Difference. Studio Deets. Imagine thinking you, quote-unquote, need the names of innocent people who have never had any part in this. That isn't research. That's invasion of privacy. You're not exposing anything. You're just exposing yourself as a creep obsessed with dragging families into trash they never wanted. Really? Calling me a creep again? You really can't come up with anything else. This is all she has. She just calls me a creep. So it's really not Amber, right? Definitely not Amberlynn Reid. Okay, just making sure. And now, I know that none of you actually need reminding of this, but do remember, just in case, that I have absolutely never done any of the things that Normal Difference is accusing me of. I'm really just in here for now, kind of making sure she sees that I see her, maybe making her a little bit more angry to see what else she'll say. But I'm definitely not the one who brought anyone onto this platform without their consent. She's the public figure. I was just making commentary on things that she had already published. Alright, just, covering my tracks here just in case, because maybe there's just like one person out there that doesn't really realize all that's happening here. Alright, so remember when Finkwood came up and said, LOL, created 15 minutes ago and then laughed about it? Well, Normal Difference now decides to respond to that, and really, I just can't believe they admitted what they admit here. Normal Difference at Finkwood. LOL. Almost like I knew that would be visible. This account only exists because I thought this creator blocked the other comments that I was leaving, letting them know what trash they are. Who admits that? I know that this person does, like right here, right now, we're looking at it. But come on. They are really making my job easy here. Alright, here's where I just said, keep changing your argument. It works very well for you. Once again, just kind of keeping this little back and forth going and letting them know that they're not bothering me because I know that I'm not in the wrong. They are. And I also know that saying this to them, well, it's probably going to piss them off. Brittany619. A Normal Difference. That's so funny. Because I can think of another, quote, trash that family never asked to be dragged into, and it starts with an A and ends with an Mber. Laughing faces. Normal Difference, talking to me. No one's changing the argument. You're just too dumb to follow it. Well, thank you, Brittany, for participating in this, because it does help. And Normal Difference, no, you seem to be wrong here. I know exactly what arguments you're trying to make. They don't make any sense. You're not really following up one thought with another one that makes sense to follow it up with. So, I don't know. I don't want to start with the name calling, Normal Difference. Innocent people's names never belonged in this mess. Period. The fact that you think you need them just proves how creepy and pathetic you are. Keep pretending it's research. All it shows is your trash digging through lives that want nothing to do with you. Hold up, Normal Difference. First of all, that's the third time you're calling me creepy, so keep giving yourself away, Amber. But also, Amberlynn Reid has talked about people on her channel, and I've just commented on it. I don't know when I pretended anything about this was research. In fact, I don't recall myself ever saying that any of this was research. I'm just making YouTube videos commenting on someone else's toxic behavior. Normal difference at Brittany619. No one here ever said Amber isn't trash. She absolutely is. The difference is, even that beast didn't drag in the names of people who wanted no part of this. Funny how you see nothing wrong with invading the privacy of people who stayed out of this cesspool. Normal difference. Once again, you're completely incorrect about this. The one that you refer to as that beast? Not me. I never said that. You did. Well, that beast is the one who brought the names of the people into her videos. There's no way that I would ever know the names of those people if that beast didn't do it first. Anyway, once again, Normal Difference has something more to say. Normal Difference at no one in particular. As I said under another comment that got deleted, I've known the family for a while and have friends currently reporting things in any way they can on the family's behalf because they're sick of this and deserve to be left alone. People like you are the reason one of them got text messages about this shit. Yeah, you all caused them to be doxxed, and we're tired of it. Wait. First of all, I didn't delete any of these comments. If I was deleting them, I feel like I probably would have deleted a few of these other ones. But maybe, Normal Difference deleted it themselves and wanted to blame me for it. Who knows? Also, now Normal Difference has known the family for a while and has friends currently reporting things in any way they can on the family's behalf. FYI, you're simply not allowed to make privacy complaints on behalf of someone else unless they're deceased. So I don't think that every single person that had a timestamp related to them, all of them different, by the way, I don't think all of those people are deceased. And it doesn't matter anyway, because you're saying that there are lots of people, friends, are currently reporting things in any way they can. The level of admission is really just, again, it's astounding. I guess they can't stop saying creepy, and I can't stop saying astounding. Well, there you have it. Oh, and also one more thing about this one. Before, they were potentially going to be doxxed, and now I'm one of the reasons that someone already got doxxed, apparently, by getting text messages. Whose number did I give out? Normal Difference. I gave out no phone numbers, so I'm not sure how I could have caused someone to be doxxed with text messages. The only person I can think of that in recent history has, had some form of doxing is Emily. But what does Emily have anything to do with any of this? Because none of the timestamps that were mentioned in the privacy complaints had anything to do with Emily. Not that I gave away Emily's phone number anyway, so I'm definitely not the one who did this, but I'm just saying if Emily's information was doxed in any way, well, I guess that could be the we you're talking about when you said we're tired of it. But also, I do have one more thing to say about this, because I just remembered the beginning of this video when I was discussing Abigail's privacy complaint. And I theorized that the timestamp that was mentioned in her video was most likely regarding either Erica or Emily. But honestly, most likely Emily. Based on Abigail's appeal saying that person had willingly participated in reaction channels, I would venture to guess that it was either Erica or Emily. So here she is again showing up as, potentially annoyed, maybe wanting to get back at some channels or potentially even erase some information about her from the internet. I don't know. I have no proof of that, but it's curious to me. I don't know what other side characters are being talked about really other than Tammie and Emily. Once again, I'm wondering who it is we're talking about and who's saying it. Alright, at this point, there definitely were a few more people who came to my defense and argued with Normal Difference. But in the interest of time, I'm going to skip ahead and just get to my very last comment, Well, basically, my last comment to Normal Difference. At Normal Difference, I'm tired of talking in circles with you, love.
No, love. No.
You think you're smarter than everyone else, but you can't manipulate someone who sees you. Have a nice day. Yawny face. Oh, and I didn't delete any comments. You two must have thought you were too vile and took care of that for me. Laughing face. For those of you who know, love is something that Amber has been saying lately. I think she said it once and someone called her out on it for being super condescending, but then she just started saying it even more, I think to try and prove them wrong, but of course really only prove them right, because the only time she says it is when she's being condescending.
Oh, love.
Anyway, that's my little nod to that. Okay, and from here, I, for the most part, really did stop responding to Normal Difference. But here is one instance where I kind of broke my silence and had to say something. Normal Difference, I guess, talking to me. I emailed you requesting copies of those supposed screenshots. Come on. Don't be lying about having receipts. I thought you were better than Amberlynn. Well, Normal Difference. First of all, I definitely never said I was better than Amberlynn, so I guess thank you for thinking that I am, because I don't think that much of her. You just haven't really been treating me like you feel as though I'm better than Amberlynn. You know, with all the calling me trash and creepy and, well, we'll get to some other new names soon. Anyway, about that email you sent, yeah, I never got that for sure. We'll get into that in a little bit. And, don't be lying about having receipts. I think that was an interesting sentence here because now I'm not going to say that, it's only people that are in this niche that use the term receipts. Obviously, it's more than that. But I'd like to stop for a moment and think about the people that were tagged with timestamps in the privacy complaints, because I would say that most of the people that were tagged, I don't know them personally, and I don't know how they spend their day to day. Well, since they were on Amber's channel, but I just can't imagine them ever using the term receipts. So it's interesting that they're claiming to be, not involved in this cesspool. And I don't know, I just can't see them being involved in any internet drama whatsoever. Any niche or any group of people that uses the term receipts. I could be wrong, of course. I could be wrong about a whole lot of things. All right, let's see. We have someone else coming up to stand up for me and have a chat with Normal Difference. So let's see what they had to say. I'm just a turtle 641. Stop being cringe, Emily. Also, love how you want to be Buck with a smaller channel. Too afraid of the other ones? Well, thank you, I'm just a turtle. I do appreciate you standing up for the little guy. A lot of people in there standing up for me, and it really warmed my heart. I really do appreciate each and every one of you who got into these comments and had something to say about how Normal Difference was treating me. Up next is my response to this whole thing from Normal Difference about the emails and, well, yada, yada, yada. Oh, hello. Number one, I'm not lying. Amber mentioned her name many times. She was even on camera, eating turkey skins, which might help you find at least one. 2, I have no emails in my inbox. And 3, I'm not sure why I should trust someone who keeps calling me bottom-feeding trash. Now, I do want to explain myself a little bit here because, yes, this is the little trap that I decided to set just to see what happened and maybe get further proof that this was not about privacy whatsoever. And when I say she was even on camera eating turkey skins, that was the, little bit of a hint that I left in regards to one video that Amber had. And, maybe you could guess which one it is based on what I said.
I think the person whose family they're trying to make it sound like is Crystal, because lots of the timestamps have been videos or pictures of Crystal and Crystal's family, but then some also haven't been.
Now, of course, this is just for one video. There are so many to choose from, which not just this person, this particular she that I'm talking about, but, all the other videos with different people that were claiming that their privacy was violated. So, anyway, this was just a little hint, as I said, and, well, we'll see what they do with that. Yes, and then I decided to reply to I'm Just a Turtle, because, that is the polite thing to do, right? So I said, in fact, YouTube considers me a micro channel. So they're not just going after a smaller channel, but a tiny one. It's wild. And yes, by the way, that is true. YouTube does actually call any channel that I believe it's under 10,000 subscribers. They actually call them, well, me, a micro channel. So, fuck my drag.
Because reading is what? Fundamental!
All right, let's, I guess, have a look at what Normal Difference had to say next. Normal Difference at Studio Deets. We emailed what we thought your Gmail would be based on your YouTube. Since we couldn't find contact information on your page, thank you for providing the evidence we needed to report one of her videos. As mentioned previously, we asked you to share this with us privately to prevent any more damage caused by your reckless mouth. I'm Professor Inspector, Reckless Mouth, Cyber Crime Fighting Deets. We will be reporting that video, in addition to reporting yours, because you're still violating the privacy policy by keeping it up. We will continue to compare you to her, because how dare you drag in someone who has never been a part of this and cause them potential doxing. Okay, so quick recap on this. Normal Difference emailed a random email because they figured it would be mine.
Stop it. Get some help.
So some random person got a bunch of threats emailed to them. That's nice. That's real lovely, Normal Difference. Cute. Then they go on to thank me, but, obviously they're being facetious here, and that's a nice way of putting it, with the all caps one of her videos. So I guess they knew which one I was talking about by my little hint that I left for them, which truly is pretty damn wild if you think about it, because the information that I offered about that one video was, well, it was very sparse. So they're pretending to be, some friends of some family? If they're friends of a family, how would they know what video I was talking about when I gave them the most minuscule of clues to go find it? I don't know, I guess they're just so good at knowing exactly what video I was talking about, even though Amberlynn Reid has over a decade's worth of videos on her channel. Man, Normal Difference sure is talented, and they did exactly what I was hoping that they would do. They told me they are going to go ahead and report that video. So I guess we'll see in the future whether or not that video has been taken down, but we're not quite there yet. Because apparently Normal Difference decided that they weren't actually finished yelling at me, and so they added yet another comment right after this one. Normal Difference at Studio Deets. We're going after you and any other offenders we see using anything that could allow people to find those who have refused to participate in this filth. Honestly, I haven't seen any other reactors
do what you did. If we do see others saying what you did, we will report them too. You have no respect for anyone at all.
Well, that's not true.
Have you ever heard anything be filled with so much venom and at the same time be made up of nothing but absolute bullshit at the same time? Like, this is basically gibberish. What they're saying makes no sense and none of it is true. But they're saying it with just so much hatred, and I don't really know what they think they're going to get out of this. If I really take a step back from it and, think about what their strategy might be here, I mean, the only thing I can come up with is that they're hoping, number one, I'm small enough that most people won't have seen my videos, right? So they're not really going to know what the content of my videos is. And thus, when, they say all these things that they're saying, they're hoping that people will just read their comments. They're going to take it at face value because, while they're saying it so vehemently and with such command of the language.
Who said that? Wasn't Shakespeare.
That's a very flawed strategy, though. You'd think you'd go and talk about me behind my back or something to people who really might not have any idea who I am. Not the audience that exists on this channel. So, I mean, that's problem number one here with this strategy. Then there's the absolute flat out lying of, honestly, I haven't seen any other reactors do what you did. It's so strange. What could that possibly ever mean, even if I really had done something? In what world have I done something that another reactor who has been around for way longer than I have? I'm talking years my seniority in this niche. How could I have possibly done anything that they haven't done? Sure, maybe I can come up with a new concept for, the structure of a video or the way that I talk about something, but not the words that I use. And certainly not the names of people that I'm referring to, which is the specific example they're using here. Because the words and the names of people in this specific context are finite because they come from somebody else. We're not making them up on our own. We're literally commenting on somebody else's content. So it's so much nonsense that it kind of makes my brain hurt, which again, maybe that's the strategy. I mean, that's pretty damn toxic and manipulative if you ask me. I just don't know if they're doing it on purpose. Are they smart enough to really understand that what they're doing is making it so that we're so confused that we can't have a comeback? Or are they just coming up with whatever they can possibly pull out of their butts and make it sound like my channel is just, the bad guy, that I'm vile, that I do such horrible things that no one else has ever done? Anyway, we're still not done with this, so let's keep going. I told you this was going to be a long one, people. I told you. And yes, even though I just got a little sassy about it, I'm actually going to skip a couple comments between what I just read and the ones I'm going to read now. Just, we don't have endless time here. I know. As much as I could just keep yapping all day about all of this, I gotta shut up at some point. So the next comment we're going to read is from Normal Difference, and they're going to be replying to someone called Ed8817. And the funny thing is, Ed8817 had definitely made some comments, but they didn't leave the one that Normal Difference is about to respond to. So, well done on that front. Anyway, the original comment that they're actually referring to said something about who TF we is when Normal Difference is referring to themselves. Normal Difference at Ed8817. We just had 2 more people report content. Normal Difference sure is confident and cocky about that little comment of theirs. They think they were just so clever, don't they? When really, All they're doing is just admitting to doing more things that YouTube won't approve of. It's against the rules to just have people mass report one channel, especially when it comes to privacy complaints. So I don't know where the brain cells are, but I guess they left the chat.
Watching the video and was literally just kind of in awe of just how fucking delusional this bitch is. Like, I was just like, holy shit.
And then, and I absolutely love this, even though Ed8817 didn't leave that original comment that Normal Difference just responded to, Ed just decided to take it upon themselves to join in the conversation anyway and reply to this. Man, this community really entertains me. It really does. Let's see what Ed had to say.
Ed8817 at Normal Difference. Wow, what a flex! Your grassroots activism is 100 times more mobile than Amber herself. You and your chronically online ilk pressed a button on a YouTube video? Big night for the lolcows over at the feeder farm. Ooh, Ed. Mean. Very mean. Funny. But also mean. But also funny. Ed8817 at Normal Difference. Do you want a crumble cookie? Oh, damn. That's a burn. That is a burn. Shout out for the deep cuts, Ed. That was a good one. Ed continues. If you think you're justified in your brigading, then explain exactly and explicitly what the problem is. Don't dance around it. Who do you think Dietz doxed, when, and how? And how is it possible that Dietz was able to do so without Amber exposing this person's information first? If you're so sure you have an airtight case, state it clearly, right here.
Ooh, Ed with the hard hitters. I like it.
Ursinate. So you'll be reporting Amber's channel too, right? I mean, that's where all the info comes from. Her channel is called Amberlynn Reid. Normal Difference at Ursinate. I don't know how many times this has to be repeated to you all. I'm starting to think the IQ of her viewership matches hers. We'll report anyone we see violating their privacy. Period.
Period.
It doesn't matter if it's Amber or a reactor. If you share information about people who never put themselves out there, you're at fault. And if you defend those doing it, you're just as awful. Ed8817 at Normal Difference. So, did you report Amber's channel or not? It's not really a hard question to answer for a high IQ individual such as yourself. Normal Difference at Ed8817.
Well, I don't know. Cat's got my tongue.
What do you think, baby girl?
Ew, ew, ew. Please, anything but the baby girl. Ugh, the gross condescension of it all. Don't get me wrong, I love what Ursinate and Ed8817 are doing here, but I don't know, just the way that Normal Difference is responding to them, not just me. Whoever this is really just a horrible person. This one I added in, well, for a couple reasons. But let's read it first, and then we can discuss.
Lainey Stewart 622. I have my broom. Let's ride.
To which I very gratefully and thankfully replied, yes, as this was in reference to my original post about, girls, get your pitchforks. So Normal Difference decided to chime in on this conversation, even though they weren't a part of it whatsoever, and we weren't addressing them. But I guess, they don't like being ignored and want to make sure that their voice is being heard.
Normal Difference at Studio Dietz. I see you can reply to others, but you still haven't addressed my request for those receipts. Don't be like your obsession and lie about having them. We're still fighting to take down the video in the copyright strike, which you should be doing on your own instead of doubling down and acting like the beast. But If what you're saying is true, we'll also go after all of her videos and those supposed screenshots with timestamps.
Yeah, so as I said, a few things to discuss here. Let's work our way through it one thing at a time. First off, it's about, the fact that they can see that I'm replying to others but not addressing them, which, as I said, I knew was going to make them angry. They want to be in control, and I've taken that away from them by not replying. They hate it. So that's why they started emailing me, or rather, emailing some random email address. Some poor person who has no idea about any of this, started getting threats in their inbox. But since I still didn't reply to any of their comments directed at me, and I didn't reply to the email that they sent, now they're coming at me in the comments that I'm leaving for other people that are supporting me. All right, so second thing, don't be like your obsession. Well, now who does that sound like? Who calls herself everyone's obsession? Who says that everyone is obsessed with her? I don't know. No one's really coming to mind. Do you have anyone that you can think of?
Before that, it says, like your obsession.
Literally obsessed with me. Literally obsessed with me. There's so many of you. Who's Ando? Someone who is obsessed with me. Black Dynamite, you're obsessed with me.
Seriously, how much time is this person spending on my channel? This must have been all day. So you tell me, who exactly is obsessed with who? I'm just hanging out on my channel. You're the one who can't stand the fact that I'm not replying to you.
Why are you so obsessed with me? I wanna know.
Next thing.
We're still fighting to take down the video in the copyright strike.
Now, this was a mistake. I don't think it was a typo. I think they just forgot that usually this person tries to take down videos with copyright strikes. That's what they're used to writing. It's what they're used to saying.
Instead of using her usual strategy of going after channels with copyright strikes, which she probably knew wouldn't work on channels like mine,
and they just kind of momentarily forgot that this time around,
she came up with this new strategy of using privacy complaints.
A copyright strike is a totally different thing from a privacy complaint. But looky here. Isn't it interesting how they just totally messed up here and accidentally said copyright strike? I don't think anyone who's actually worried about privacy is accidentally going to say copyright strike. Maybe that's just me. What else do we have here? Oh, just telling me what I should be doing. Okay, so trying to take control. Once again, calling Amber the Beast? That's just a kind of another moment where I'm like, who is writing these? Because Amberlynn is pretty well known for tearing herself down using her sock accounts to try and seem like she's not herself, right? Only someone else would say these things about her. She would never.
It's seemingly to try to throw you off her scent.
But we've seen her do it, and I don't know. Is that a dead giveaway, or is it someone else? Is it someone like Emily, right, who we've been talking about a couple of times here, who has been known to call her names? I can't remember them off the top of my head, but I think there was something about pork, something. This person is really terrible. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know who the beast is, and I don't know who's saying it, but it's come up a couple times in the comment section, and I just think it's interesting. Then the last thing that I do want to mention here is,
if what you're saying is true, we'll also go after all of her videos and those supposed screenshots with timestamps.
So of course, first of all, they're just claiming I don't have them. But even if I do, even if Amber really did post these things first, they're going to go after her. This is what I had originally started talking about back when we were discussing one of the previous posts and said we weren't quite finished with that topic yet. So here it is, coming back around. Now, I did kind of lay a little trap and offered a very small amount of information regarding where they could find one of the clips where one of the people mentioned in the timestamps could be found, both in name and in face, several times in one video. I just gave a hint. I didn't say which one it was. I didn't give the title. I didn't give the date. I just gave a hint. Everyone, just so you all know, that video is still up. So, I don't think this person was really interested in privacy whatsoever. They weren't going after Amber, the person who originally posted the content, even though I laid this trap for them, gave them one of the videos, and they never had it removed. So, a lot going on in this one comment. Right, this one. This is yet another example of me just having a nice interaction with the viewer and Normal Difference just showing up uninvited and crashing our party. I guess, they were still just feeling a little bit neglected and wanted attention. So.
Rachel Lalaine. Deets, please do not let those dimwits, Emily and co., intimidate you. You don't seem like the type to back down, but she's in the comments trying to speak with authority in her usual pretentious manner, and it's draining AF. You got this. We don't play about you and mini waffles over here, babe. Sympathy face.
I gotta say, that was a real nice read, and I pretty much immediately was able to reply, and I said, thank you. Honestly, with so many like you coming to my defense, it's giving me the strength I need. And I wasn't joking when I said that. I know when I read it now, it does sound a little bit cheesy, but honestly, this was a really draining day. This person, whoever this is, were really, really harassing me and harassing you guys, my viewers, which also really pisses me off. And people like you, Rachel Lalaine, were really there for me when it was a tough day, so thank you. But unfortunately, it didn't end there because Normal Difference came in to ruin the day once again. So let's see what they had to say about this, because everyone cares, everyone cares what Normal Difference has to say. They get the last word. They get to ruin the day. They get to be in control, right?
Normal Difference at Studio Deets. Your viewers may not play when it comes to you, but we don't play when it comes to the privacy of our friend. A decent human would take the video down and show some respect and remorse for their reckless mouth.
Well, Normal Difference. Do you feel big and strong and you're the big boss of everybody? Is that how you feel when you write things like this? Because you just look like an asshole, really. A decent human would take the video down? No. A decent human wouldn't be making false accusations serious enough to potentially get someone else demonetized or have their channel taken down entirely, all for their own benefit. A decent human wouldn't be harassing me and my viewers for days on end. A decent human would actually come and talk to me like an adult instead of hiding behind an anonymous account name like a complete coward and sending me threats. And not just on my YouTube page, but via email too. A decent human wouldn't call me trash, wouldn't call me a bottom feeder, wouldn't call me, what is it? Oh, right, I have a reckless mouth. Yeah, why don't you tell me about decent humans, Normal Difference? You seem to know all about what it means to be decent. You're proving it with every single comment. And no, I didn't respond to this. Don't worry, everyone. And it only served, of course, to make them even more angry as the days went on because they weren't getting the attention that they think that they deserve, I guess. Well, you're not the center of anyone's universe but your own, so you can enjoy your time as you bully everyone in your path, as you push everyone away in your life. I'm going to be over here with my awesome community that stands up for me and supports me publicly, not, secretly in the DMs. I'm going to be over here on, this side of the internet, where those of us in this community that actually like each other, we get along. We laugh, we stick up for each other, we know how to have an actual good time. But I guess you wouldn't really know about that, huh, Normal Difference? Because you're too busy being a big bully who just wants to get her way. Well, have you gotten your way?
It's really hard to know who's going to come out on top.
So at this point, you guys, I am almost totally losing my voice again. But there are just a few more comments that I think are worth taking a look at. What I think I'm going to do for the rest of them is just read them out loud for you. I'm not going to give my own commentary each time like I have been. I think you guys are going to know exactly why I decided to add these into this video. This next one is a long one, and then we have a few quick ones to follow it up. But yeah, as I said, they're pretty important, so here we go.
Normal Difference at Studio Deets. I'd advise you to think twice before using the names of people who have never been involved in this trash, regardless of what timestamp evidence you think you have. You're no better than the trash queen herself, constantly rehashing things that these people have clearly never been a part of. As friends of the family, believe it or not, that's on you, we're mass reporting any of your content that references anyone other than ALR or the people who willingly made themselves public. Repeated violations and reports can cause channels to be removed, and we will continue reporting, especially if you keep acting like this is acceptable behavior and pretending you've done nothing wrong. Shame on you! And shame on all the viewers who see nothing wrong with making innocent people continuous victims in your quest for rotting. And for the sake of your monetization, I hope your mistake doesn't cause another one of them to be doxxed in any way. Because if that happens, they'll have the ammunition needed to take your channel down. Especially since they themselves have never revealed anything about their identity, which is the key thing you're neglecting to realize.
Ooh, talk about tension.
Surprise, surprise. Here's yet another comment from Normal Difference, just full of nice things and lovely notions.
Normal Difference. Since you wanted to be nasty to our friend by basically telling them to deal with it, and then chose to behave the way you did with such arrogance, you've given us time to go through everything and take screenshots for our friend in case YouTube needs more information regarding their privacy claims. We've already found something that I believe makes this an open and shut case. And let's be clear, you're not the victim or the little guy here. The real little guy is our innocent friend who has never been involved in this trash whatsoever. And then I guess they came back later to edit it because the next time I went through the comments, well, it was longer, so I'll continue. What's wild is that you don't even see how much you're like Amberlynn yourself. Trying to bully someone into submission for the sake of your so-called, quote-unquote, content.
And look, I know I said I wasn't going to offer my own commentary on these, but I do want to say this one thing. I have literally never told anyone to deal with it. Again, this is just them making shit up. Just total BS. So that they can just be horrible to me and really just harass me for hours on end. Ooh, these are a couple of good ones. Magisterial Voyager really got Normal Difference worked up a couple of times. Or at least Normal Difference thought they were being super clever. Right.
Magisterial Voyager. Joined 13 hours ago? And then Magisterial Voyager also replied to Agatha Wren, saying something about coherence and it leaving the chat. And then Normal Difference chimes in here, and they decide to reply to Magisterial Voyager's first comment about, how they had joined 13 hours ago. And they say, Magisterial Voyager, yep. Almost like we made the account for this purpose.
Folks, we have another admission on our hands, in writing. Thank you for making this so easy, Normal Difference. Really, you keep offering me these gifts. And then, Magisterial Voyager comes in with yet another win.
Magisterial Voyager at Normal Difference. 57 comments in Deetz's channel within 13 hours is crazy. I guess I'm not the only one who is so friendless and jobless, though. Shrug. Normal Difference at Magisterial Voyager. What can I say? I'm off and caffeinated. Shrug.
I mean, I know one person who's off work right now, right? Someone who took at least a month off. Someone who said that they might be back in October, but, no promises. Okay, well, maybe that's the person who has all this free time. I don't know. Could be. I'm not sure, but it could be. Thank you, Magisterial Voyager. You're a gem. So this one I saved for last. It really needs no introduction, so I'm just gonna get right into it.
Lilith 77. Amber the Bully strikes again. She really is her own worst enemy. Of course, she'll try to deny it or say you're stealing content.
And I got right back to her, and I said, her latest sock is in these comments if you're curious. I'm not stealing content. Apparently, I'm a bottom feeder and a creep. Girl doesn't realize she's calling herself those things, since all I do is hold up a mirror.
Lilith 77 in reply to me. It's hilarious that she thinks these tactics work. Which one do you think is one of her sock accounts? Never mind. Don't give away that you know how to play her stupid games better than her. Lots of laughing faces. I will say that this was very early on in the process of all this, so not everyone had seen the Normal Difference account yet. I'm sure Lilith figured out exactly who it was as soon as she saw. When do you know it, Normal Difference finds yet another party to crash. Normal Difference at Studio Deets. Two things can be true at once. You're both bottom-feeding losers. Peace.
Two things can happen at once. Two things can coexist at the same time. Two things can happen at once. Two things can happen at once.
That's the gag of all gags.
A real gem, huh? Truly unbelievable how horrible Normal Difference was to me and to all of you responding to them. They gave me everything that I had hoped for and more. But before we summarize, I do want to reiterate here that there were so many of you deep in that comment section, both standing up for me and, calling out Normal Difference for their behavior. And while today I focused on the comment threads that were directly involving Normal Difference, I do think that everything I have been able to record deserves to be commemorated in a video all its own. So I'm actually going to be doing a dramatic reading of the entire thing in another video. I'm thinking at the moment it's probably just going to be a members only video because I'm not totally sure that everyone would be as interested in that as I know that my members would be. But if I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section. Maybe I'll consider making it public. We'll see. Anyway, a quick summary of what chaos was created by Normal Difference in this comment section alone. 1. They admitted to creating the account specifically for the purpose of harassing this account because they thought that I'd been deleting posts made by their previous sock account. Okay, so thanks for admitting that. 2. They admitted that they were a group of people filing complaints on behalf of others, and that they were getting others to help them mass report me. None of that is allowed. Then they started threatening not just more privacy complaints, but also my monetization and the entire existence of my channel. Sure, no problem. That's totally fine and okay for you to do. And when they were asked directly how I was doxing anyone in my videos, or if they were also going after Amber for having posted, all of this information and these people and those faces in her videos originally, they just didn't answer in any kind of direct way. They avoided answering the question and just talked more shit about me. I wonder who that sounds like.
I love taking my anger out on haters. It's actually really cathartic. Like, genuinely. So thanks for that.
I'd also managed to set that little trap of my own, right? Offering an example of one Amber had shown and named Crystal's sister, just to see if they actually went after Amber's original video, and if that was still up later, kind of have a little bit more information about that. And they even got so mad that I wasn't responding enough in the comment section that they decided they wanted to try to email me their threats. Now, of course, I told them I didn't get any such emails because I hadn't. And so they then admitted to guessing what my email was based on the name of my channel and just randomly sent threats to that email address. Can you imagine being that poor person, whoever that is, waking up to whatever threats had been sent their way randomly, not knowing anything about any of this? And of course, I had a record of all of it, prepped and ready to send to YouTube's legal team. All I had to do was let the anonymous account run free with their commentary because they just couldn't help themselves. Because I knew that they would. And I just had to make sure to capture it all before it was deleted. Honestly, they made it so easy. Pain in the ass, yes, but easy. So at this point, I started putting together my own complaint. None of my videos had been taken down still, even though more privacy complaints had continued to pile in. And because I have a background in graphic design, I put together the nicest, most thorough exhibit of all of this evidence that maybe YouTube ever received. All right, it's kind of a big claim, I know, but it was very nice if I do say so myself. Not only did I include all of the screenshots of the harassment and admissions that were made in the comments and the false accusations, but I made call-outs for each and every single one of them, describing what they were referring to and how each one was false and any other comments or evidence I might have. I can't actually show this to you because, it's an ongoing conversation with the legal team, but I decided how about I make kind of a blurry version for you so you can kind of just get an idea of what I'm talking about. So, yeah. this is basically what I made. You can kind of glean from what you can see exactly what I've done here. In the formal complaint, I also provided any links and timestamps to every single one of Amber's videos that had first provided the information I was, simply repeating in my videos. Because I do make certain that anything I talk about is first shared by a public figure, obviously. So it's very easily proven. And while I was doing all of this, wouldn't you know it, the Normal Difference account was, in fact, deleted. Surprise, surprise. To absolutely no one whatsoever. And, while I didn't get screenshots of every single comment that they left while I was sleeping that night, I certainly had enough to prove what I needed to prove. More would really just be more at this point. Oh, and additionally, I finally did receive an email from Normal Difference. After all, my email is available on my page. This anonymous person, whoever it was just being too lazy yet again to do even a minimal amount of searching. Anyway, Normal Difference went ahead and, I guess that they made an email, first of all, for the occasion, because it was Normal Difference in their email address. Which, damn, they're too lazy to go look for my email address, but they'll go ahead and make a new email altogether? Okay. Anyway, they went ahead and told me in the first email that they did, in fact, delete the account on YouTube, but absolutely did not intend on stopping making any privacy complaints against me. They just kept feeding me more evidence. No, don't worry, I didn't respond to their email, but, I made sure to take another screenshot for the graphic. Just gonna keep making it bigger and bigger for that legal team. I did actually end up getting yet another email from them. It's not worth going into every single detail because it's going to get repetitive if I do. Just imagine the threats that we've been discussing in email form. And yes, by the way, the privacy complaints also continued. At this point, it was so truly ridiculous how much time, just time, that was being dedicated to my little channel.
I know you're obsessed with me, but it's creepy at this point.
At the time, I had under 6,000 subscribers. A couple weeks later, I have over 7,000. But yeah, tiny channel. In fact, I'm a micro channel. And yet here is this person or persons spending all this time watching all my videos.
It just shows obsession.
Sending me all these privacy complaints. It's real big of you. Real big of you. Anonymous person. At this point, I even lost count of how many privacy complaints there were. Yeah, sure, I could go in and count them, but honestly, it does not matter. It is an absurd number. And once I finished putting together all my evidence, my graphic, etc., making sure I had everything in there that I wanted to have in there, I was ready to chat with YouTube and file my own formal complaint. I will also admit here that it took a while to get past, the bots, the automated responses. YouTube is huge, and of course, there's going to be a lot of work involved. And what made it even worse for me was that because my case is, so unique, there wasn't exactly an option in the form drop-downs that fit my specific and rather complex issue. So I did the things I thought I could do, and I got some bot responses, and I responded to those, and I started getting handed from one department to the next, But I didn't give up. I waited, I kept working, and I kept being handed from one department to the next and rewriting everything I'd written. Rather, at this point, I'm just copying and pasting. I finally got a real person, on the other end of an email. And this person was on the support team, which wasn't exactly, who I needed to be chatting with. But, I knew I still had more time and effort to get to the right person. So I sent this person my giant graphic of evidence and all the call outs, along with a long email explaining my situation, some links, all of it. And while they were certainly not the right person to deal with it, they did in fact see that it was very serious and I was taking it seriously and I had a case that was worth looking at. So they provided me with just what I needed: a direct email to someone on the legal team. The privacy complaints continued to come in. Yes, they continued. They still haven't stopped during all of this. Of course. Why would they? So each time I sent a new email, I just added any new privacy complaints to my graphic and, added any new links with new proof of false accusations I needed to add. The graphic got bigger and the email got longer. I know that you're sitting here and you've sat through this video really hoping for a nice, tidy ending to this story. Justice being served and all that. I was hoping to offer it to you, I won't lie. While I don't have that nice ending exactly, it's not all bad news. In fact, I'd say it's more good news than bad. The fact is, this conversation is just not yet over. I'm continuing my back and forth to figure out exactly what next steps I'd like to take in the matter. And I just decided now was a good time to make this video because I'm still not sure what those next steps are going to be. Kind of depends on the next steps of some other people. And I didn't want to make you wait anymore because I think that I am at a good pausing place once again. So here's what I can say at this point. To this day, not a single one of my videos has been removed. No matter how many complaints were filed against each and every one of them, how many multiple videos, how many of the same video multiple times, none of them have been removed. YouTube isn't just blindly removing videos because someone thinks they should. I'm clearly not violating anyone's privacy when I have not shared anything whatsoever that hasn't been first published by a public figure. Again, easily provable. And to my knowledge, Amber has not received any privacy complaints of her own. None of the videos that I originally took clips from have been removed. And those would be the videos that someone who actually thinks, that their privacy has been violated would want removed. Well, none of her videos have been taken down at time of filming, I guess I should say. In all of this, the fact that her videos are still up, in my opinion, is just more proof that none of this has ever had anything to do with privacy. Because if it were, the anonymous people who were going after me would actually have been going after her and all those videos that she published originally, sharing faces and names and information about people that I guess, I don't know, maybe she potentially never got consent from. I wouldn't know, of course, since it wasn't me posting that footage. In fact, as a public figure, I would assume that she did in fact get consent from those people, right? That's what you should be doing. But if she didn't, then those people certainly could make a privacy complaint against her. And thus far, I haven't seen that happen. All her videos are still up. So I guess we're really never going to know who it was. My contact on the legal team has been great. They've offered me some very helpful information, in fact, and also provided me with some actions that I could pursue if I so desire. And not only that, I have been offered further help from the team with this situation. Should I choose to take further action. At this time, however, I have not taken further action. pausing to reflect and, waiting out further action from the person or people making complaints against me has really just proven to be advantageous thus far. And at this point in time, now a few weeks out from the very beginning, a formal complaint filed on my end and an important contact made, the privacy complaints against my videos have finally come to a rest. At least I hope they have. I don't know if that's because YouTube did take some action against anyone that was harassing me, or, if the people behind Normal Difference, just got tired of doing it. It's totally possible. But in either case, the very targeted complaints and harassment has stopped against me. So, with that, I'll also pause. At least unless and until it becomes apparent that I need to unpause and take further action. I've learned a whole lot in this process and can now easily just take this back up should I need to, right? But as long as I don't have to and, more false accusations and harassment and complaints against my videos, they're not coming in, then I'm willing to not take further legal action as well. But I will say this, I'm not afraid to do so. In fact, if you've seen one of my recent videos about the time that I was hit by a car, I've already been through a major legal process. And as long and as tedious and somewhat harrowing as it can be,
That's when suing will entice.
I still, in my heart, in my ADHD heart, believe in justice, and I'm willing to fight for it. As evidenced by everything I have told you about today. Do I think that Amber originally took time off from making videos in hopes of, all this Aunt Tammie drama going away? Yeah, I do. She wants to let gorlworld focus on other things for a while and come back when she thinks that, we've forgotten about all this. But I also think that Amber saw this time off as an opportunity to take her anger out on the reaction channels that she despises so much. This wave of complaints started with Abigail, and then she quickly moved on to me, and then some other channels that have also spoken out about it. Probably others as well. And do I have proof that it's Amber? No, I don't. But it is my opinion that it has been her falsely targeting the channels that she hates. But it's just my opinion. So absolutely just take it with a grain of salt. But there is at least one other person out there that thinks that this is Amber. And wouldn't you know it, it's her very own Aunt Tammie. Yeah, someone who is in Amber's real life. That real life of hers that's so free of drama.
I don't have drama in my real life. I hate the dramatics. I don't have any of this in my real life currently.
Well, Aunt Tammie popped into the comment section of one of my community posts. And here's what she had to say. Tammie Smith. First of all, I would like to apologize. I'm sorry you are having to deal with all this. If me commenting to you caused Amber to do this, I'm sorry. I also would like to thank you again. The videos I have seen of yours are so well done in my opinion, to the point that they have brought me to tears several times. You really dive deep and tell a clear story that had me even realize things that I had overlooked before. Although I'm sure some of my tears came from sadness, most of them were because I was finally seeing and processing the truth for what it truly is. Tears of relief and a feeling of finally being heard and understood. I do not understand the whole privacy violation strike, but the audacity of her speaking about anything private. And while I absolutely do appreciate Tammie stepping in here and voicing her opinion, I did remind her that she has nothing to be sorry about. we have to remember not to be apologizing for the actions of other people. Her niece is a grown adult and in her mid-30s. And what she chooses to do, well, she's the one who should be taking accountability and feeling sorry for it. You know, if she's the one who's really behind all this. But again, we'll probably never actually find out. I just thought it was interesting that even someone related to Amberlynn would think that she could be the one behind, all of this harassment. Because people who know Amber in real life, they always come away from their relationship with her not liking her, not trusting her, and really just running as fast as they can in the other direction. Anyway, thank you, Tammie. I do appreciate you coming here and showing up, but yeah, definitely not your fault. And honestly, just rereading this one comment from Tammie served to remind me once again of how many other great comments were left on, well, every single one of my community tab posts. I really do think it might be worth reading through those in another video, but we'll see. Let me know. I am curious if that's something that you'd be interested in watching. While I've learned a whole lot about the politics and the legal side of YouTube, this process, it has also taught me something so much more. Something bigger and better and more positive than I ever thought it would. It showed me the community that I have here on YouTube. The number of people that stood up for me in the comments truly blew me away. There were people who subbed to my channel to support me, and there were people who subbed to my channel just to spite Amber. And even more than that, there were so many people that were going back and watching and rewatching my older videos to help support me financially as I was heads down working on this and trying to get my defense in order and not making videos in the meantime. Others, they joined my channel, if even for a month or two, just to support me even further. I appreciate all of that. I mean, there were those of you hyping my videos to get them out there to a larger audience. I wasn't even asking you beyond that first time, and I saw you in the comments saying you were hyping my videos and trying to get others to do so as well. It was wild. It was amazing. All of this ended up just, helping me with the YouTube algorithm, getting my videos out to more people, gaining me new views and new subscribers. This community really showed up for me. I can't say it enough. I know I've said it like 3 or 4 times, but I cannot say it enough that I am so, so grateful for each and every one of you. And thank you to the channels that help spread word about these wildly false accusations against me by making videos about this situation. The ones I know about, I will link to in the description below. I know Hecticana made at least 2 videos. Rachel did, and so did Mika. So massive appreciation to them. And if you haven't watched them, go check them out now. And there were also several channels that shared my community posts. I know that Jawbone and Leo did that. So go give them some love too. And in all reality, this whole thing, this wasn't about privacy. It's clear by the actions of the person doing all of this that it was simply, clearly, purely, plainly harassment. It was bullying. It's the thing that reaction channels are accused of doing all the time, yet all we do is hold up a mirror. To the anonymous person or persons that are behind all of this, I just want to say this. You don't actually have to watch our content if you don't like it. We don't make it for you. You can just keep creating your own content or not. Just go on your sad and lonely way. But the thing is, the small channels like myself that you choose to target, we don't have a choice. We have to face YouTube and we have to defend our work that was made fairly and legally. The work that is also our income against people like you. I don't go to any other channel and leave 70 comments in less than 12 hours. Comments, might I add, calling people disgusting names and using such foul language. Comments that threaten anyone else's monetization or the existence of their channel. I've never falsely accused anyone of anything via YouTube's reporting system. And yet here I am, getting false claim after false claim after false claim for days on end. Tell me, who is the bully in this situation? Is it the person making commentary on publicly available content? With her face on camera? Or is it the person or group of people sitting behind an anonymous sock account made solely for the purpose of harassing a small content creator on her channel, threatening her income, calling her names, and making false accusations via an official reporting system? Not to mention emailing her directly with more of such accusations and threats. Only to then be even more of a coward by deleting that sock account as soon as word spreads about it? Ha! Man. I guess after all, we do know that bullies are really just cowards at heart. Imagine what someone could accomplish if they spent this much time and effort on literally anything positive. This person or people, clearly has nothing but time on their hands, and yet decided to spend their time like this. Well, congratulations. Do you feel victorious? Do you feel good about who you are as a person? How does it feel seeing this side of the internet come together and support and stand up for one another? To know that someone who has been on YouTube for such a short amount of time has so many people willing to show public support for her. Go ahead and, puff out your chest and pretend whatever you want to pretend happened. But your emails are all saved, and they will continue to be saved. Your future comments will be screen grabbed, and your actions are officially filed with YouTube. So, I hope, whoever you are, that you have the day that you deserve. No one deserves to feel silenced. You know what I mean? I just feel, Minnie, you're ruining my joke. This is my bit. And you're putting your cute little ear in the frame of the corner. The corner of the frame. Serves me right for trying to be funny. All right, let's try this again.